recall your arrival at UCLA?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And were you present when the paramedics pulled into the emergency room bay that's reserved for emergency vehicles?
I was.
Okay. And at that time, were you present when Michael was unloaded off the paramedics' rig and taken straight into the emergency room?
Yes, I was.
What were you doing at that time as Mr. Jackson was brought from the rig into the hospital?
Well, there was a lot of paparazzi that was following us, and so what we wanted to do is protect Mr. Jackson's privacy. So as they were getting him off, I remember going towards the paparazzi and asking them, please, this is a private moment, please step away. And then I proceeded to head back towards the ambulance, and I took off my coat, I believe, and I tried.
And then you went out to the front of the house?
Correct.
And as they brought Mr. Jackson outside in the gurney, what were you doing at that point?
I believe I went towards the children and started talking to them so that they wouldn't see their father come out like that.
Okay. Were they, the children, Prince, Paris, and Blanket, were they in a vehicle at that time?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And were you kind of blocking the view of their father?
I was trying to distract them, trying to get their attention, yes.
And were you present then once the paramedics left the location of Carrollwood and proceeded to UCLA Ronald Reagan Medical Center?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And did you follow the paramedics to the hospital?
I did.
Do you recall in what vehicle?
I was in one of the Escalades, sir.
Okay. Do you recall with whom you drove to UCLA?
Yes, sir. I believe it was Derek Muhammad, Fahim Muhammad, and I believe Michael Amir was in the vehicle. There was three securities plus myself.
Okay.
The View.
Okay. And did you remain at the hospital while the emergency room doctors attempted to save Michael Jackson?
Yes, sir.
Were you present at the hospital when he was subsequently pronounced dead?
Yes, I was.
Sir, were you, while at the UCLA Medical Center, following the pronouncement of death, did you speak to Conrad Murray?
Short periods of time, yes. We said a few words.
Okay. At some point he came up to you and thanked you?
Yes, he said, thank you for your help. And I said to him, we did our best.
And when you said, we did our best, you were referring to yourself and Conrad Murray, correct?
Correct, yes.
And to everything you knew at that point in time, you thought you each had done your best?
That's correct. Okay.
And you had no reason to suspect Conrad Murray had done anything inappropriate at that time, had you?
No, sir.
Did you have any dislike or animosity toward Conrad Murray?
Not at all, sir.
Had he treated you well?
The few times that we spoke, it was a very warm conversation. It wasn't.
As you sit here today, do you have any personal anger or animosity or vendetta against Conrad Murray?
No, sir.
At some point at UCLA, did Conrad Murray ask you to be driven home?
Yes, he asked if he could be taken home back to the house. He first said he was hungry, that he hadn't ate all day, and he said if someone could take him home back to the house. And I believe Michael Amir was not too far from me at that time, and I didn't answer the question, and then he directed that same question to Michael Amir.
Okay. And so you heard that, but were not part of that conversation?
No, sir.
Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. At some point, I assume you left UCLA following the pronouncement of death?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Prior to your departure, and after, let me strike that, after you spoke to Conrad Murray, or rather after you heard Conrad Murray making this request of Michael Amir Williams, did you see Conrad Murray again?
I remember seeing him sitting down, like right in the hallway where the emergency room was at, where they were working on Mr. Jackson. I remember him sitting down and him saying, I wanted him to make it. I wanted him to make it.
Okay.
And after that, I didn't see him.
Okay. So that was the last observation you had of Dr. Murray, was when he was seated there making those statements?
Correct.
Okay. At some point then, did you load up the vehicles with the other security personnel and begin driving somewhere?
Yes, sir. After a few hours, I believe, when we had arranged for Mr. Jackson to be taken to the corners, and we felt the situation was secure, we all loaded up into the vehicles and drove off, sir.
Okay. And did you eventually then drive to the Carrollwood location?
Yes, sir, we did.
And the police were already there?
Yes.
Okay. And did you remain outside of the house at that time?
Well, we identified ourselves, and then they allowed us to come into the property with the vehicle, and we stayed inside the property, sir.
Okay. Inside the property, but did you go inside the residence?
No, sir.
Okay. Have you seen pictures of yourself standing outside of the house on the property?
No, sir.
Okay. Did you stand outside of the house on the property?
Yes, sir.
Okay. But you left the property shortly thereafter, is that right?
That's correct, sir.
And why was that?
I was asked to take the children's Labrador over to the Jackson's Havenhurst residence, sir.
And that was their dog, Kenya?
That is correct, sir.
Okay. Did you do that? Did you take Kenya, their Labrador, over to the Havenhurst residence?
That is correct, sir.
Sir, following this incident on June 25th, 2009, through to today's date, have you been approached by media outlets to give an interview?
Yes, I have.
About how many times?
Various times, over 20, 30 times.
Have you agreed to participate in any of these media interviews?
No, sir.
Have you been offered money to participate in these?
I have.
About how many times have you been offered money to sit down for a media interview?
I would say about 9, 10 times.
How much money have you been offered?
Up to the sums of $200,000, and remember one offered me $500,000.
And you said no?
I said no.
And the National Enquirer offered you $200,000?
That is correct, sir.
Mr. Alvarez, has anything good come from this tragic incident for you?
No, sir.
What has it done to your life?
It's caused a lot of financial problems. Just really don't have steady, and so, I went from a great salary to hardly anything.
You do get sporadic security work?
Yes, I do.
Okay. You've worked kind of one-night jobs for various celebrities over the period of time?
I have, and unfortunately, they try to sell my involvement with Mr. Jackson, and we get accounts in that manner.
But you went then from a full-time, what you described as great salary, Did you enjoy your job?
I sure did.
Okay.